Anyway, speaking of that, oh my God, dude, my son flipped out, was so fucking mad at me. I actually felt bad. He was so goddamn, he has this thing, man, where he just he doesn't want to sit in his chair and eat. He wants to walk around and he wants to do the whole thing. Even though he doesn't quite know how to use a fork, he just wants to use it and flick shit around. And it's just like, all right, that's what you want to do, buddy. But then he had like this little bowl of bolognese, right? And he somehow got it, you know. I looked the other way and he got it in his fucking hands. And I was trying to take it away from him because I knew he was going to drop it and it was going to be this big mess. And the second I went to take it away, he's so strong. His little cute hands just gripped the bowl. And he went like, started yelling. I'm like, no, buddy, no, I just have to take this. And like his whole head turned red and pulled away. And then I let go. And then he was looking at me. And then I was like, I have to get this away from you. I just have, because you're going to, you know, it's going to go all over the rug, all over the floor. And it's going to be a nightmare. So I went in and I just had to overpower him to get it away from him. And he screamed as loud as he's ever screamed, put his face down into the bowl, did like a 300 yell, except with like a baby voice. He was so fucking mad at me, and I got it away from him. And then he just ran at me and just threw his fucking arms all the way up like a fucking gorilla at the zoo. Like he was just going to beat my ass, and he came flying into my legs. I was just like, oh my God. And I put it down. I was just going, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. He was so fucking upset. It was awful. Like it like ruined for like 2 hours of the day that I made him that mad. Even though, you know, I was doing the right thing. I mean, I fucked up as a dad that he got a bowl of bolognese in his hands. What the fuck was I thinking? I wasn't. But he got so goddamn mad at me. And, yeah, it fucking broke my heart for like 2 hours because I know what a big deal that is. That's his world, you know? I you know, he gets a good feeling of satisfaction doing things for himself. And I took that away from him. And he doesn't understand that it was for his own good. Oh, man. I was just thinking, like, is this what, like... That was a scary thing because I'm just thinking, like, okay, now just multiply this times 10 years and all of that type of stuff when, you know, it's something else or whatever. But I still think I'm going to be all right, you know, as far as being like a parent and stuff like that. And I never listened to, you know, all the parents, well, you wait fucking 10 years. It's like, maybe you fucked up. You know, why? Just because your kid is acting like a fucking asshole. I don't know. I know that there's going to be times when, you know, they're going to be like, oh my God, Dad, shut up or whatever. I get that there's going to be times like that, but I just don't want to have like the like resentment and that type of shit. But I think that comes from not listening to your kids and telling them to shut the fuck up. Like the way it was done when I was growing up. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and I'll tell you, the fucking side effects of that. Do you guys know to this day, when things are not working out for me, I get fucking pissed rather than just communicating to people how I need things to be done. And my wife is helping me out with that. And I realized that I never did that because when I was a kid, like no kid could do that. You couldn't be like, hey, you know, can I actually, it's like, parents back then were just like, hey, they'd snap their fingers, shut the fuck up or whatever. So you just kind of felt like you had no options. And I kind of carried that into my adult life. Like, I'm literally talking about like going to a restaurant and getting a completely different order and then just not fucking saying anything because I'm doing the formula of a kid, like, oh, if I say something else, then I'm going to get yelled at. So I'll just fucking sit here and eat this thing that I don't want. Or, you know, even back when, you know, my wife would be suggesting something like, hey, what do you want to do on Sunday? Like this, blah, and I would immediately think, it's fucking playoff football. I want to fucking, and then rather than just saying that, that the playoffs are on. I want to watch playoff football. I would just, that's a dumb example because I was never at a point emotionally where I wouldn't say that it was playoff football. You know? I wasn't that fucked up. It's just like, are you out of your mind? Do you want to go do something to me when Andy Cohen is doing the wrap-up of one of those Real Housewives shows? I know you don't. All right? And I'm aware that we both don't know each other's TV schedules. You have no idea when the NFL playoffs are on, and I have no idea when he's wrapping up one of those seasons. Me and my wife, we're just exhausted because, we were hanging with the kids, having a blast. We went out like fucking playing like miniature golf and shit. And, dude, it's just like real golf in that there's always some people like in front of you playing too slow that suck, or there's people behind you that are better than you and you're stressing out because they're fucking getting it through the windmill and they're sitting on the, waiting to tee off. And then there's just all these people like taking it seriously. It's like there's a fucking, this looks like Dr. Seuss designed this thing. What are you doing? Just fucking hit the ball. Who gives a shit? They're keeping score and stuff. Just like, what the fuck are you doing? So I didn't give a fuck. And my wife was just crushing it. She just like parred the first 3 holes. I bogeyed all of them. And then like the reverse happened where it's funny. Like my daughter is so much like my wife where they both stopped giving a fuck on like the 12th hole. They were both bored. Like my wife didn't give a shit anymore. My daughter's climbing on fucking rocks. And at that point, like I'm trying to, now I give a fuck. I'm trying to par every hole. Yeah, we had a good time. Went to the arcade. We just did just total fucking white trash afternoon. It was fantastic. And then we went out to this old school diner and just got some fucking malted milkshakes or whatever.